Hi, I'm Donald White, Science Content Specialist for Coweta County School System, and I'd like to welcome you to the 2018 edition of the Coweta County Innovation Expo Shark Tank. The Innovation Expo is an opportunity for Coweta County students to display their creativity and innovative thought in areas like technology, entrepreneurship, and community activism. The 10 finalists you're going to meet were selected from 150 other applicants. Let's meet our sharks. Our first shark is Hasco Craver. Hasco is the Assistant City Manager for the City of Newton. Our next shark is Sarah Lees. Sarah is the Clinical Intellectual Property Manager for the Cancer Treatment Centers of America. And our last shark is Steve Mader. Steve Mader is the CEO of Southtown Motors here in Newton. Our sharks have had access to the students' work and will now have 1 minute to interview each of them.
How are you? Welcome to the Shark Tank. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your project?
My name is Sarah Folsom, and this is my partner Logan Stelling. We invented the alarm mirror. The alarm mirror allows you to temporarily bypass your house alarm to let your dog out or to simply open a window on a nice night. It took us 2 tries to come up with our final product. Our final product to make for both the alarm window and the door costs only about $3 each. Our invention is easy to install, it's easy to use, and it's affordable, and it's also effective.
All right. Do you envision this working only in individuals' homes, personal homes, or could you see this working in an office or another application?
It could possibly work in an office, but we mainly based it off for home use.
Great. So in terms of how it actually works to turn things on and off, do you need any sort of a password or anything like that, or you just push a button? Do you think that maybe there's an opportunity to include something like that if parents maybe have a concern about kids sneaking out of the house or using their alarm for other reasons as well, not just keeping intruders out?
Well, ours personally, we invented it because we couldn't come up with a way for it to have a password. So ours is simply a hinge, which keeps the alarm pressure plate compressed.
Great, thank you.
So is this magnetic driven factor?
The window one is. So when the connection between the magnet on the window and the alarm plate breaks, the alarm would usually sound. But we just attached a magnet to a hinge, so when you push the hinge in, it goes right next to the alarm plate, so that connection is not fully broken.
So the magnet confuses the sensor, so when the window opens, it doesn't go off.
Yes.
Got it. Great idea.
All right, girls. Well, thank you so very much. Thank you for sharing your story today.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, welcome to the Shark Tank. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what you're carrying?
Thank you for having us here today. My name is Will Stevens, this is Jackson Brooks, and this is Gus Heatherman. We created the Air Agent 414. So what is the Air Agent 414? What started out as a way to measure the air quality above the ground level evolved into potentially saving the lives of our military. The Air Agent 414 is a device that holds an air sensor, and when attached to a drone can help fly the drone into higher air levels. And so the air monitor will take data measurements of the air quality measurements of higher levels, and that's the initial reason that we created this project. So this project, the Air Agent 414 we used the Air Agent 414, the prototypes. So this is the first prototype with is our onion mesh prototype. It was lightweight. It allowed the airflow, which is a critical feature, but it could allow the air monitor to get damaged, so we needed to revise. So we created a second prototype that was a wooden cage, and it helped protect the air monitor better, but it was a little bit heavier, and it did allow for adequate airflow. And so then we created a 3D printed hexagonal cage that we put the air monitor into, and it allowed for adequate airflow, and it also protects the air monitor very well.
Great.
So we were thinking about some other marketability options. And so Gus's dad was a former U.S. Marine pilot. So we're thinking, what about a military application? So we were thinking that we could use another sensor, a chemical weapon sensor or radioactive weapon sensor, and fly it into the battlefield to make sure that our troops are going into safe space and that they do not get harmed.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate the thought you guys gave into the different prototypes and also the fact that you've thought about other applications for this. One question I had is initially you wanted an air sensor that was going to be off the ground, and forgive me, I'm not very familiar with air sensors. What is the advantage of having it above the ground versus at ground level?
So the air quality measurements are only measured at the ground level currently. So it's beneficial to measure air quality measurements above ground level because they can differ from ground level.
All right, thank you.
So as I understand it, your third prototype, you even mentioned that your 3D printer was going to make the cage solid. Have you done that yet? Because you said the cage bars were hollow, and when you tested it with a baseball, it broke. I forgot the height.
It was 1 meter high. And
1 meter.
And our next prototype would be to advance the project even further, would be to make the tubes not hollow inside because it wouldn't add
Make
as
them
much
solid.
weight, but it would make it more solid and more damage resistant.
The other question I have is, how did you measure the height of the drone? You said you did 30 feet, 50 feet, and 100 feet, I believe.
The drone automatically measures it. It is synced to a phone camera and the controller, which will automatically tell you the height that.
Gotcha. It syncs to your phone.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
and what did you find out at 100 feet in high humidity? You said that the humidity absorbs some of the ozone. So in high humidity, what did we find out?
We found out that the ozone was slightly higher, but then again, we were testing it a little bit more we were testing it in the wintertime, so in the summertime it could be even more of a drastic difference of the ozone.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. To continue the conversation, have you considered cost? How much did it cost you to make your third
For the
prototype?
PLA plastic filament that we used to 3D print this with, it costs about $5 a spool, and this took about half a spool, so it's about $250.
Okay. And how often do you think, how much use will you get out of that? Can you use it?
There is just an infinite amount of uses that you can get out of it with one particular air sensor.
Is it something that you feel that you would, in the military application, that you would sell or lease the prototype, the intellectual property that you came up with, you would allow other people to use it, or would you want to manufacture it yourself and sell it to those individuals, those organizations?
We could do either one, honestly. We could probably lease it to them just because it's the military, and they could improve the design of ours and put their thoughts into it as well.
Well, congratulations on a great job. Thanks for sharing your story with us today.
All right, thank you.
One quick question before you go, since we're off. You had zip ties to hold it onto your drone. Have you changed that model yet?
No,
Is it
sir.
still zip tied?
We have not. We haven't really found a better solution to hold it on.
Better
to the
snap
drone
of
yet.
sorts. So. All right, thanks.
Good job, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, how are you? Welcome to the Shark Tank. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're wearing today?
This is connectivity. This product is for organizing IV tubes in hospitals for nurses and patients because patients sometimes get tangled up in IV tubes, causing that to get uncomfortable and dangerous for nurses to locate the IV tubes quickly. They have to finger up the tubes to find the correct tube when they need to detach it or attach a new one. Our product organizes these by threading them through elastic straps that then branch off over the body. This product is attachable to the bed rails, to the arm, anywhere because it allows them to move around the hospital with it, also helping not get all over the floor. We weren't able to test how comfortable patients were with this product, so we tested how quickly nurses could locate the correct tubes. Our data showed that nurses were much more efficient when finding them. It took less time for them to locate it with the product than without it, because they're all in one place. Our product costs about $6.25 to make 8 of them,
and if we sell it for that price, we would get about 800% profit. So
There you
it would
go.
be really efficient for the patients and everybody. Our product is, well, the original product for the prototype, we had it having Velcro straps here that would tighten around the IV tubes, holding them in place. But after talking to my dad, who's an engineer, he said that the IV tubes may need to move around more along the patients in case they're turning or moving. So we redid it with elastic straps so that the tubes could move and stretch when needed.
Great job. Mr. Maynard?
Yeah, you, in your data, you did a comparison between not using the connectivity and the connectivity. I didn't quite understand the difference. I saw the improvement, but how much improvement was there with the connectivity? In identifying the lines.
Connectivity decreased the amount of time it took for nurses to locate the correct specific IV tubes by about a minute.
A minute faster. Was that a minute faster per line or for all the lines?
We did specific tubes, how long it took them to find the specific tube that we told them to.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
To continue testing, would you envision bringing this to a hospital environment or an assisted living center, somewhere that would use it, allow nurses to try the product out, put it on patients? What's the next step, you think, in the evolution of your product?
Well, I don't know how easily we'd be able to get into hospital rooms because it also has to be how clean they are and everything. But many people also have IV tubes at home who are sick, and those would also, we could test it on them as well.
Okay, good.
Do you envision, I'm talking about making it be clean for the hospitals, do you envision this being something that would be reusable between patients or something that would be disposable and a new one would be used for each patient?
Right now, we tried to make it as easy as possible to wash them so that they could reuse them on each patient.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Great job, guys. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How are you?
Good, how are
Welcome
you?
to the Shark Tank. Tell me a little bit about what your plan is today, what your pitch is.
Okay, so what we did was we made a medical IV jacket, which is a jacket for people who have chemotherapy, kidney dialysis, and infusion treatments. So when they get into a hospital or a doctor's office, they'll be cold. It'll be cold in there, and they'll probably have a jacket on and they'll dress like they need like some thing to be warm for them. So they put a jacket on, but for the treatments they have to take it off and they can't have the jacket on. So we made a jacket that has 3 zippers on each side for infusion treatments or chemotherapy. This is also for chemotherapy for PICS, and this is for kidney dialysis in the side. So if you have the infusion, it goes in, the IV goes in, and you could just put it in, and then all you have to do is zip it back down if you get cold, and it's easy access. Same for here, for the PICS, and for here, for the kidney dialysis in your side, and you can just zip them back up whenever you get cold or whenever you need to just like not have it in the way.
Well, great idea. I recently spent a day and a half in the hospital with a small accident, and I was freezing. So I understand what you're talking about. But for those of us who like to wear loud colors, do you envision, coming out with sweatshirts that have different patterns, styles? Can you get funky with it, or are you just solids right now?
Yeah, we can make any color. Like we were going to make a website like in the future. Like if you have cancer, you could put like the cancer, like your colors on the back of the sweatshirt.
Yeah.
You can
Personalize it maybe. Yeah.
different colors that you want.
Awesome. Is that something you guys would do, or you allow somebody else to do it, or a combination?
Combination, yeah.
Yeah. Great.
So one of the questions that I had, given I think a lot of uses for this, which I applaud you guys for thinking not just about the IV uses, but all the different ways that a patient might get cold during an infusion. Would you sell this directly to patients, or would you potentially work with hospitals or infusion centers, and maybe they could purchase several of these and just offer them to patients when they come in for their treatments?
Well, since like the website, like people could go on our website if they have them like not going into like a hospital like every day, like monthly. They could buy their own, they could have their own. And if they did like go into the cancer treatment or like a doctor's office and need one of these, if they're going to be there for a while, they can get them, and they'll be totally free if you go into them, but you can also buy them for yourself.
Okay, great.
Ladies, what perpetuated this idea? Was it an experience you both had in a hospital or a relative?
Well, one of them was our other patient. Well, not our other patient, our other our other partner. She had an allergic reaction, and like she had this,
I
and then
understand.
like a relative.
And so if you're going to sell directly off the website, what is your pricing model?
Maybe like $25, $20. Not too expensive because like people can't afford it, or they just need something to.
I see. Do you plan on having different types of thermal covering, light covering, medium, heavy? Interesting. And out of curiosity, I noticed in your performa, you said you're using a glue system to put the zippers in.
For the prototype we did, but.
Yes. So how did that hold up?
Well, if you were to wash this, the glue would come out, so you can't
Gotcha.
really.
So it was one and done. Thank you.
Good job, girls. Well, congratulations. Thank you for sharing your story. Hi, welcome to the Shark Tank. Tell me a little bit about your product and your project.
So we created a book called JoJo's Visit to the Hospital. We wanted to give a different look on educating kids about cancer.
Tell me a little bit about the process you went through. Why the book?
We made the book because a lot of younger children are told, oh, it's bad, it's a disease, you lose your hair, that's it. They're not very educated on it. Just what they hear through other people and not really in an in-depth kind of way.
All right, so is this book then intended for children who have cancer or children who know someone maybe in their family that has cancer?
More children who know somebody who has cancer.
And have you given any thought to maybe other topics if this were to be successful, maybe other diseases or other things we might want to use the
Yes.
same sort of method to educate kids on?
Yes.
Anything in particular?
Probably other diseases that aren't well known or talked about as often towards kids.
Thank you.
So in your product testing, you tested with peers, and most of the feedback you got was pretty positive. Have you tested this with a younger source?
Yes, I tested 3 younger children, all younger than 10 years old, and a lot of the younger kids liked it. They found it was cute and interesting. They had
like the bunnies and the penguins.
yes,
And
it had their attention.
So talk to me a little bit about the illustrator and the author who came up with both sides of that.
We both came up with the story together. She's more the illustrator. She has more artistic ability than I do.
It takes a team.
Yes.
so distribution and pricing.
We wouldn't think too expensive because if it's going to be a children's book, we don't want it to be towards like only kids who have lots of money, so everybody can have it.
So that would be approximately $5, $10,
$10,
$2.
$10 to $15 maybe.
And how would you distribute the book?
Get towards publishers who can help us make the book better, who can help us get to the right people.
How about an ebook version?
That would be,
Yeah.
that would work
Put it
as
on
well.
an app maybe, or
Yeah.
have a child with a Kindle or.
Especially because a lot of kids have electronics
That's right.
now, and it
That's right.
keep their attention even more.
Well, great job, ladies. Thank you so much, and
Thank you.
congratulations on being here today.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So,
Come forward. Welcome, gentlemen. Hey, tell me a little bit about what you're carrying in here today.
so my name is Jason Cho, and this is Hyungjun Jung. And this product is called Kaisik. It is a camera stabilizer, usually called a gimbal. And what it does is it reduces unnecessary movement from the camera. And it is unique in a way that it does not require something called a counterweight. In an ordinary gimbal, assume that here is a pivot and here is the camera. And you put something called counterweight to compensate for the imbalance that camera makes and bring the center of mass into the pivot. So, but Kaisik does not use that counterweight, but effectively positions the phone into the middle of each axis. So it reduces weight while keeping up the performance. And it is open source. because we thought the fastest way to make an innovation like spread and apply it to many people is to make it open source and allow other people to modify to fit their needs. And it is also modular, so many of the parts are interchangeable. And yes.
Awesome. I really like the idea. So, given I see you've got a specific cell phone on here, would these be specific to one cell phone brand, or are they more universal and any phone would fit in the same device?
It'll be universal, and many phones have different sizes and weights, so we made it to be adjustable. So yes, it can fit other phones too.
Yeah, and what material is this made out of?
It is made out of PLA, which is a plastic made out of corn-based pigment.
All right, thank you.
So in your testing, you tested it with your classmates, correct?
Yes.
And if I remember correctly, 40% of your test group thought the gimbal that you designed was more stable than the original. Have you done anything different to change the results?
Yes, we completely redesigned it since the testing. So
what have you done to improve the gimbal?
First of all, we put this metal 90-degree brackets to strengthen it. And we put 2 bearings for each axis because a ball bearing does not eliminate a certain axial movement. So it needed 2 bearings for each axis.
Have you retested it since?
No.
Not yet? And how has that changed the pricing with your modifications?
Pricing does not remain does not go up, but rather go down, kind of.
Gotcha.
Yes.
And what do you think you'll price it at?
Price of it around $10.
Very inexpensive.
Yes.
Is it good for selfies?
We didn't test it yet, but yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah. Great job, guys. Thank you for sharing. Congratulations. You guys got some good stuff down there. Hey guys, welcome to the Shark Tank. Tell me a little bit about what you're here to pitch.
Okay, so I'm Jonathan, this is Sunmoon, and so you know when you have a water bottle and you're thirsty, so you go to your car to get it because you left it in your car, but you grab it and it's hot from sitting in the car all day. Hot water isn't very good, so we created Glacio, which is a portable water cooler. All you have to do is take your water bottle, screw it in here, and turn it on, and it pumps the water through it and cools it. And so we're also thinking about medical applications. So say when you have heat stroke, you need cold water, or there's some scenarios when you need cold IV fluids. For example, like when you have a cardiac arrest, you induce hypothermia to preserve brain function. So we took our product and we got feedback on it, which it was overall good. It's just one thing, we needed to make it smaller. So we made this, which is about half the size. So the whole device is relatively simple. There's 5 main components: the water pump, the water cooling block, the heat sink, and the fan, and most importantly, the Peltier module. The module transfers thermal energy from the water cooling block into the heat sink, which is the thermal energy is then dissipated into the environment. So then the cooling block's cold, so the water's pumped through the cooling block using the water pump. So it's cooled off. So
Wonderful.
So in your testing, as I read, you started out with AA batteries and moved to C batteries?
we started out with 9-volt batteries.
9-volt?
But then after learning that those wasted a lot of energy, we are using a power supply to test it. And we're looking into using LiPo batteries for the final version, because we're still working on constantly improving it.
And to cycle a 12-ounce bottle or a 1 liter, let's go to 1 liter. To cycle a 1 liter bottle and chill it takes how long?
Well, we've been using 16-ounce bottles.
Okay.
So it cools at about 1 degree Celsius per minute. But then with a water bottle half that size, it'll cool 3 or 4 times that speed.
And so you can bring the temperature down how many degrees?
We've gotten it into the 60s. It can go lower, it just takes more time.
More time.
Yes, sir.
And
Talk about time. Forgive me.
that's all right.
My other shark. We're sharking each other here, right? Talk about how much time it does take to cool to I guess a palatable, if you will, temperature for that 16-ounce bottle. From
Okay.
a warm state in your car. I've been there. I have it. I hate it. I want cold water. How long do I have to sit in that car seat before it's cold?
Okay, so we started out, when our testing, we started out with a water bottle at 85 degrees, because that's about how hot or it'll be in your car after sitting there a few hours. So we tested it, and after about 20 minutes, it got into about the mid to low 60s degrees Fahrenheit.
And how much power does it take to go 20 minutes? Does that drain the batteries at that point?
Yes, sir. That's why we're looking into creating,
A more direct supply?
yes, so like rechargeable batteries or just the cigarette lighter outlet.
And your pricing for this?
So to make both of these products, it costs us about $50 or each. So we're thinking with mass production, it could cut the cost in half to about $25, the production costs. So then we could go back and sell it for $50, maybe a little bit less.
So in terms of if this is going to be reusable, which it sounds like it would be to make it worth the cost for people to purchase this, would there be a need to clean any of the components or pieces?
Yes, we're currently actively working on another version, which can be easily just a piece taken off, so you can easily wash it out. And it'll also cut the size in the device by about half this size.
All right.
Well thought out, gentlemen.
Yeah, congratulations. Thank you for sharing your story today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. My car, and it's hot. Hi, welcome to the Shark Tank. Tell me a little bit about what your story is, what your project is, what your pitch is.
Okay, so I'm Elise, this is Carson, this is Megan, and we created an app called Speak. And it's basically an app for people who have been bullied and feel like they have no one to talk to. And so they can join like an online support group, or they can get one-on-one counseling, and it's all free because a lot of the time these apps are like, you have to pay for them. And at our age, we don't have like the means to pay for something like that. And so it's all free, it's nonprofit, and it's basically for people who like feel like they have no one to talk to.
So as I understand it, is people that may feel like they've been bullied can talk to other people that feel that they've been bullied through the app, right?
Yes.
It's kind of like a social networking.
Well, it's kind of like that, but we don't want it to just be like you talk about you become friends. Like we want people to make new friends, but we don't want it to just be about that. We want it to be like you can share what's going on and feel like someone's supporting you through like your struggle and what's going on.
Do you monitor it so that bullies don't get on there or people that shouldn't be?
Yes, so we have a place where volunteers can sign up to be counselors, and you go through a background check, and you have to have an experience in counseling. And also we were hoping to partner with like organizations, like counseling organizations that would give us like information on how to make sure we're finding the right people, and then they would monitor the conversations to make sure that they're going in the right direction.
All right.
Great, so do you guys have a prototype for this yet, or is this still sort of a concept?
Well, we don't really have like the means to actually code an app, but this summer there's this program that we're going to where we're going to learn like how to like do that kind of stuff. So,
Okay,
yes.
very interesting. The other question I have is, one of the things you mentioned was getting counselors to volunteer to donate their time. Have you given thought to other ways you might be able to get those kinds of resources? Maybe have people give donations, and then you could actually pay some counselors to be full-time supporters.
It's, like we said, it's a nonprofit, and so, like you said, donations we would get, and then also we would partner with like organizations that would hopefully help feed us, like the like suicide prevention organizations and stuff like that. Hopefully they would give us some like money and support and help us to build it up a little more.
Thank you.
So I assume that it's for school use. You've spoken to your teachers and guidance counselors. They support you. What kind of ideas did they give you in this structure?
Well, let's see, some ideas that they gave us, we spoke to our youth pastor, and he was the one that really gave us the idea to make sure that people are monitoring the conversations and make sure it's not just for like social media, it's actually like for people that are being bullied, because there's plenty of places you can go to just talk to people, and so we want this to be different.
Very good. Well done. Good heart, too.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations. Thank you for sharing your story today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi, welcome to the Shark Tank. Tell me about what you have.
This is called tongue rakes. It's basically a rake and a bag holder attached to a tongue.
Okay.
This actually makes raking more easier and convenient because you can rake the leaves, gather them, and you flip them. And the leaves goes into the bag. And usually you have to rake all the leaves and try to get the bag, and sometimes the wind blows and it all scatters and you have to rake again.
That's right.
And that is a problem, and that you don't want to do it many times.
Right.
And this is good for adults who wants to do their work faster and save their time for other things, or kids who wants to do their chores real fast and do other things that they want. And the back is actually held by little metal wires. I am thinking to improve that, but the metal wires actually hold the bags like this. You can just clip them like on, and it holds the bag tight. Usually, this is the reason there are two rakes is the outer rake is just used to rake the leaves, and the inner rake is used to scoop the leaves, and you can just flip them to put them in the bag.
Okay. Have you used this?
Yes.
You have? Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about your experience using it.
This made it actually easier because although the rake are a little bit smaller, but they make the raking process way more faster.
Okay.
And it's because I had the back attached to it, it took me way less time than raking. And then
So is that one of your chores at home to rake?
sometimes.
Yeah. Okay, so it helped you get back to what you really wanted to do, right? Time saver, I guess.
Yeah, time,
huh?
it saves a lot of time.
Great.
So looking at the design then, it seems like the bag itself is, the clips just come on and off and you can switch out the bags pretty easily?
Yes. I made it sure that this thing goes up, out and in, so you can take out the bags and put them in back there. So you can, when it's full, you can just take out and get a new bag and clip them again and keep doing it.
And one of the things that you mentioned is that the one rake is a little bit smaller. Would you have the potential to create a different prototype that maybe had larger rakes?
Yes, this is actually held by little screws. Once you take that screw off and get a larger rake head, then you can put them in. But when you put the larger head, you have to make the bag holder larger. And you can do that because as long as the head fits in here, which does because rake has a little stick on it, it will work.
Okay, thank you.
So first of all, were you surprised to get answers back from the companies that you sent emails off to?
Yes. Like, I sent emails to a lot of companies, but I was so surprised that Fiskars, like huge company Fiskars, their head designers sent emails back to me.
It was a nice email.
Yeah.
I agree. So the cost of building something like this?
It cost me about $40 to $50, but I think I can lower the price down if I go through the manufacturing companies because they would lower the prices down because I don't have to get these from the Home Depot or a lot of places that are more expensive if I buy single.
And I think the third company that answered you asked for you to reach out to their invention
Yes.
department. Would you
Yes.
would you share your ideas with that company?
No, because I wanted their opinions, but I asked for their opinions and not as an invention request, but they still sent me through that, so
Gotcha.
I did not.
Very creative.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations, great job. Thank you for sharing your story today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi, welcome to the Shark Tank. Why don't you tell me about your project?
So first you can adjust it to 3 angles, and then after that you put a book on top and you can start reading.
Did you make it yourself?
No, my dad made it.
Your dad made it? Was there an issue or something? Were you trying to read at night in bed somewhere that you decided I needed something to help me?
Yeah, whenever I read the book too long, my arms would get tired, and that's how I came up with this idea.
So I know that one of the places that a lot of people like to read is when they're taking baths, and I'm wondering, with this being made of wood, do you think that would be a problem with it getting wet, or there may be other materials you could use?
No, I don't think that would be a
It would
problem.
float.
Not a problem.
All right, thank you.
Very creative. Did you see the design anywhere? You're Kevin Park, right? Did you see the design anywhere? Or is this something you designed yourself?
I drew it out on a notepad and got ideas, and my dad
Okay,
made
so
it.
you created it yourself, your own idea. And the cost to make it, wood, screws, hinges,
It cost about $8 to $10 to make.
very inexpensive. And would you be interested in selling that, or is this for personal use?
Personal use.
Well, thank you very much, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Good job, buddy. Congratulations. Thanks for coming and sharing your story with us today. All right, guys, lots of great kids, lots of great projects this year. Now's the hard part. Now we've got to go through all 10, try and pick our top. Who's going to get our vote this year? A number of these projects are things you could see enhancing everyday life. Some may enhance critical, service industries, such as the young ladies' 2 sets that had the IV tube organizer as well as the sweatshirt. I could see that every day. Along with JoJo's visit to the hospital, kind of neat, something heartwarming, but also could affect society. The air agent, that was kind of neat. Took some ingenuity to kind of get up and kind of help protect those that protect us.
I appreciated the number of prototypes that they worked through to really get to a product that they thought was going to be useful.
I agree. The app Speak, definitely appropriate nowadays. Wish, honestly, that I had something to look at here today. I think a great idea, probably needs to mature a little bit. The young man with the rake, to understand that he had gotten, I think, you had talked to him about that, Steve, that he had actually had replies from some manufacturers, some well-known brands. That was kind of neat.
It was.
And I'll tell you, they don't always reply when you contact them with innovation, so that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So what are you thinking?
So from my point of view, there's some very good functionality here. The alarmarian, good little function for taking the dog, and it's inexpensive to make. The Air Agent 414, I think is a great idea. I'm not sure it's got to its final prototype yet, where it's functional.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
Yeah, the connectivity, wonderful little idea, inexpensive. Hospitals could use that. Who cares about washing it at $7? You throw it away and get another one for the patient. The medical IV jacket, I think, is a little superior from the standpoint that when you're taking chemo and you're on dialysis, you're on there for hours, and you do get cold. I think that's a very strong, very great idea.
I can say at our cancer hospital, the patients complain about that a lot.
Yeah. The children's book is cute. I think the other things have a little more value at this point. The Kiss Stick, great idea with the gimbal. I just don't think the prototype is as stable as it could be. You probably need to add a little motor to it to really make it very, very stable.
I think there's a lot of opportunity for that, though, given the technology becoming smaller and smaller. YouTube videos, things like that. I think there's a big market for it.
Glacio, wonderful idea. 20
really
minutes is a little bit of a long time.
Lots of science in
but I think they're heading in the right direction there. The Speak app's wonderful, heartwarming, but we needed to see something, some functionality. The tong rakes, it's really great thinking. Obviously, he rakes a lot of leaves.
He's welcome to come to my house any day.
Absolutely. And the book holder, that's an idea that's out there. People have created it. Yeah,
I thought the same thing.
So if I had to narrow this down a little bit, I would go, if I pick it down to 3, I'm saying the alarmarian, I can't say it. The alarm, the connectivity, and the medical IV jacket.
I tend to agree, certainly with the second two. the Alarmarian, again, I'm having the same trouble you are pronouncing it. So maybe they can refine the name of the product before it goes to market, right? You want to make something simple to buy when you buy it. I think that they need to address security issues. It's something that's kind of open to not awake somebody in the home could be used against you. I think there's maybe a next step needed to kind of consider that. I think you would ask that question.
Yeah, but I also do agree that there's an opportunity for, if I have an alarm system set and I want to open my bedroom window, I don't want to walk all the way downstairs to put in some keypad. I can see the utility of that.
Yeah. I do love the idea of the sweatshirt and the IV tube organizers. The sweatshirt in particular, I like the idea, and I think you guys may recall I asked the question about personalizing the sweatshirts. I can really see that developing as an industry where people have not only, you know, attached themselves to, I think this month is Colon Cancer Awareness Month, and, you know, may it be that, or color, or names, or patterns, or, you know, I can see groups of people in the community quilting together for this, but, you know, maybe you sell the pattern or whatever. I think that one's really, really neat.
And going along with that, I mean, some of these patients are in these infusions for 10, 12 hours at a time, so having something that showcases your personality for that long, I think, is really helpful.
I think we've
Ladies
got
and
ours.
gentlemen, I think you got a winner.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, okay. Hey, teams. Welcome back. And there's a reason why the three of you are here today. You are three winners. So not only did all of the groups, all 10 of them, win by getting here today and pitching their products, but you three were outstanding. So congratulations. Now's the hard part, right? So you can't all win, you know? I would like to say, though, that coming in runner-up is Alarmarian. So congratulations. Thank you so very much. Wonderful job. During our deliberations, we see great application for your product in the market, so keep working on it. We did jokingly say you may want to pay attention to the name. I had to have coaching from each one of them to learn how to say it before I was able to congratulate you on your win. But great job, young ladies. People's Choice, connectivity. Great job, very good. What I can see for you guys and how you can transform the industry, the medical and healthcare industry, is amazing. I think it's great. I think you attacked a problem that's real. So congratulations on that. Not only do we feel like you're winners, but the people do too. So congratulations on winning People's Choice. So, because you're both really smart and you're halfway smiling, you now know who the real winner is, right? The winner of all of it is you guys, the medical IV jacket. Congratulations. Great job. I want one, but I want it in plaid with stripes and some pink and yellow in it, just in time for Easter. So congratulations, but again, the same as Alarmarian. See, I got it that time. You got to come up with a name. You're young, you're crafty, get something fun and funky with that name. But congratulations to Medical IV Jacket, the winner of the 2018 Shark Tank program, and congratulations to our runners-up, as well as the People's Choice. So thank you so much.
Great job, ladies. Well done.